Hi, I'm Simon and this is my Discovery, and today we are looking into changing the upper rear right hand side control arm. Before we start working on the car, we need to set the car into build mode so the air suspension doesn't move when we jack up and do our thing. Let's see, like so. Upper control arm bolts kit. I recommend getting new clips because you need to change out brake lines. So all these three brake lines I recommend changing out because of they rust so much. You're probably going to ruin them, and also the clips you're going to ruin them. You need new bolts for the whole thing, inner and also outer. Okay, so got it all jacked up. So I'm putting stoppers on every wheel. I don't want this rolling while I'm working on it. So you gotta lift it pretty high to get it off the ground, but now it's looking good, and yeah, let's get into changing the upper control arm. You will think that this was a simple job since there's only 3 bolts on the control arm itself. But there's a lot of things. Don't think I put the handbrake on. But there's a lot of things we need to remove. And if you were wondering, these are the original nuts for the car. And don't use this on that because it's going to break the aluminium, and then you're going to rust, and then you're going to have an issue with them not fitting. So yeah, always use the breaker bar and a torque wrench to tighten them up. Okay, they're kind of a bit big. There you can see the control arm, outer bolt on the, what's it called, the hub. And then you have the front inner, rear inner. And on mine, the rear inner has gone. So that's why we need to replace this, because it's moving all the time when I hit the bumps or potholes, or yeah. So all of this needs to be removed. The brake pipes need to be removed, and I think the parking sensor should come out, if I remember correctly. Or the speed, is there? Yeah, there's a sensor, of course there is. And yeah, so there's a bit of work to be done. The hardest part here is to get the bolts out of the inner bushings, because the bushings have a metal cylinder center, so the bolt seizes up in that in the bushing. So we probably need to cut the bolts to get that out, and that's about a bit difficult. Last time I had to cut the whole arm to get access, and then cut the bolts. So yeah, we will see. This is the adjustment for the camper. So what I do is I'm going to mark the old one just to see, just to give up, have a reference point. So when we take off the arm, I'm going to transfer these marks over to the new arm, and then it's going to be almost perfect. You can see what the rust does, or the salt does. So this is really, really bad. I think this has been on since new, so the nut is almost gone. And that's 18, I think. It's probably 19, it was 19, let's try 19 just to see. So you can see by turning the bolt, you're adjusting the camber. Okay, so this will prove to be more difficult than I thought. So this bolt isn't coming out because it's stuck in the bushing. So either I have to go all in, if I can't go in, get the bolt out and cut it open, then I need to take off the whole hub assembly and take this to a workshop and get it pressed out. I have a new bushings, but yeah, I need to find someone who can help me out then. So I'm going to try and get the bolt out. If not, I have to go all the way. And then if I do that, I think I'm going to put the disco into the garage, because it's going to be okay weather tomorrow, but the day after it's going to be risk of snow basically. So yeah, yeah, so we will see. Try to get this bolt out tonight. If not, then tomorrow get it into the garage and start cutting up, and then see if we can get this pressed at the garage. Yeah. Okay, so I'm giving up. I can't keep on hammering. The bolt won't come out, so yeah. I think I spent 2-3 hours now just hammering and yeah, doing what I could, warming it up. Yeah, nothing's helping, so I think I need to cut it. And yeah, as I said, I want to bring the disco into the garage first because the weather is changing, so yeah. And I don't know how long I'm going to need when I need to pick everything down and go to the garage. And yeah, so a bit more work. Being an optimist, was hoping to get this done today, so let's see. But, oh, sorry. There's another project that needs to go out first, and then, yeah, then we'll see. But yeah, blue skies, it's getting dark now, but really nice weather today. Been a good day out in the forest, and yeah, enjoying everything except that lousy bolt. So, but I will see you tomorrow, continue on, and then you will see what I end up doing.
Knekt i åpen.
Stilla, ja. Ja, men jeg kjenner det selv. Det er bare åpen nå. Ja. Let's see, 4 degrees outside today. Raining. Let's see. Just have to disable build mode suspension. I'm on the GoPro, so the video quality isn't too good, but I was just gonna test a little bit, take lunch after I got the car into the garage and then start filming. But as you can see, it has moved a little bit. So I'm just gonna try and continue before I take lunch and see if I can get the bolt out. If I can get the bolt out, this is a big win. So using a combination of the big hammer that I got from my father. So I think he said how heavy this was, but I can't see it now. 1.8 kilos. 4 was that 4 lb? I don't remember. And using this hammer thingy, so yeah, let's see if we can get this bolt out now. I need to remove the caliper. I'm gonna ruin the caliper. And then back to hammer time. So I think it's coming bit by bit, but I need to cut off the bolt here so I can get off the nut here so we don't have issues. But it looks like it's coming. Okay, so after many hours of hammering and yeah, I don't know, done a lot, but it's finally time. I had to get the big camera now so you can get the final. I think it's coming now. I think we have it. So yeah, let's see if we can get the bolt out. It's I don't know, 5 hours now, bit yesterday and today. So yeah, it's been a struggle. So the big hammer really worked. Now I cut off the end part and got the nut off, so that's ready. I think the worst is done. But you really have to swing this really hard to... But now it is coming. Okay. Let's see. We use this now. So basically all of this rusts against the inside of the bushing. So the inner lining on the bushing here is metal and that rusts against the bolt. But no wonder, I think this has been on since new, so there, yeah, no wonder it's rusted. And yeah. As you will see afterwards, when we take this off, I'm going to show you how bad this upper control arm is, and it should have been replaced many years ago. But the bolt is out. So happy. Lunch. Oh. Victory, yes. Okay, so back in the garage after some lunch. So I have already done this once before, and on the other side, and then the easy part was getting this bolt out, and starting now with this being a problem, I'm guessing the other bolt is going to be a huge problem. On the other side, I had to cut the whole arm off to get to the rear inner bolts, and I had to cut my way through the whole bushings to get the bolts to release. So there's still a lot of work needs doing after getting this bolt out, but I'm optimistic now that we can get this done, but it's a lot of work. So starting with removing everything here, everything that I can get away. So if we need to start cutting on the arm, it's not going to be will be ruined by our cutting. So already took off the brake wear sensor. It's one on the rear right and one on the front left. So there's two sensors on the car. And I want to be careful not to break it. Got the sensor wires out. Hopefully they are okay. So if you don't know, this is my favorite tool in the garage. It's basically to remove interior clips or clips on the car, but it's really good because it has the bend, so you can leverage everything in small places. And yeah, so my favorite tool in the garage is this. I will link it in the description, and then you will, yeah. I don't know which brand it is, it doesn't really matter, but these interior clips tools are really great. Okay, so next up is the speed sensor or traction control ABS. This can be a challenge from previous experiences. It's not getting the bolt loose, but getting the sensor out because of the rust in the hub. I think it's coming. Oh. Okay, got it out. Now you can see how the speed sensor looks. You can see inside here. You can see the gears going around. That's what's the difference in depths on the gear there. Is what counts the speed. So when it turns, it knows the speed, and if it slips, it knows it should brake. So that's how the traction system works. It's constantly calculating the speed and the speed difference between the wheels, and yeah, pretty smart. Both sensors now loose. We can get them out of the way. I think the brake cable or the handbrake should just be here. So this is the one coming from underneath the car, and that is okay. This one is totally rusted, so 11 won't work. 10 is too big. Yeah, maybe up some pliers. Yeah, don't think so. I think it came. Yeah. And these are the clips that you need 3 new of. Where did that go? So these brake line spanners also really good. I can link them in the description as well. Okay, so with that loose, you can pull it out and then just screw in the bolt. Come on. And that way we have a hopefully sealed connection here. Yeah, looks good, so it won't spill. Okay. And we can keep it up here just so we can wash it. And this is a brake pipe coming from the brake line, which is underneath the car. Goes down here to this brake line, which goes underneath to here. And then there's a brake pipe going from that connection to the caliper itself. So 2 brake pipes and then this brake line in between here. Okay, good, that's done. Can remove this, I hope, just by removing the clip. Or no, we didn't need to disconnect it or cut it. Let's see. Wait. Okay, dogs. Then the height sensor. Let's clean that off first. Super rusty. This is rubber, so be careful. Let's see. Like so. Okay, so are you ready? So this is the scenario. I think this is going to be easy, the front one. Optimally, we will get this bolt out. I have hopes for this one because it doesn't look too bad, but we cannot be certain. Woohoo! Oh, success! Big win. Bolt is out. The nice things about this is that it has this locking, so you only need to get the bolt out. Oh, big win. Bad thing now is it's so difficult to get to the other bolt. But I have a trick. Say hello to my secret weapon. Short 21. And let's see, lefty loosey. Ah, that's good. So on this side, we can actually push down instead of pull up. So it's on, the body will feel my wrath, but that will be, oh Lord. I think that says enough. I can't get it to move. Even standing and jumping on it, it can't get it to move. Some say you cannot use a grinder, but you can cut this off here and then work your way all the way through. But it's a lot of work. Some use a hacksaw, but for cars, I don't have that. I have a hacksaw for more of woodwork, but I'm going to try see if that works. And it's a metal blade or combination blade, and we will see. I always have the grinder, so I can use that afterwards. But I just want to try, see if I can get anywhere with this. It's cutting something, so we will see. Probably cutting the bush at this point. I want to be cutting in the frame, so let's see. So we're definitely cutting something. So that's good. I hope you appreciate this. Take your time to film. Need to get this car ready for Easter vacation so we can go north. If you want to help me out, share the video, put in a comment. So I think it's struggling a bit more now, but I think that's because we are on the bolt. The bush metal was is easier, contrast to the bolt itself. I guess it's hardened steel. So it's funny. I had to change the battery because I went out, and I think we're about 2/3 now. So yeah, it's definitely cutting, so it's working. But I went out to get this. You know, you had the green Bosch for a long time when it has turned professional. It's blue. Made me laugh. Just find that very, very funny. Use this when I rebuild the house or refurbish the house and terrace. Been working really good. Can't complain. Yes, keep on cutting. I think we are 2/3 about. So we're almost through the biggest part of the bolts, which is the hard part, I think. Ooh! Don't cut the airbag. It's gonna be a bad day. Oh. Nothing. So back in the garage, ran out of battery, but got time to go and drive the kids to practice, and also got some food. Now it has charged, so hopefully we can get through the last bit there on this battery, or else we need to wait some more. Ah! Put up the oil. Okay, so I think the nut came loose, so the bolt is off. Is the bolt loose? I don't think so. Let's see. 21. Not loose. Definitely not loose. Ooh. Jeg filmer alltid. Hello, Dad. Hello.
Hello.
Ja.
Ja vel. Ja, det skjønner jeg.
Ja. Nå det gikk opp og gjennom på den siden, på venstre siden der.
Ja.
Så nå det den andre som litt kilt her på at han klemmer i hoppen på festet.
Ja.
Så når jeg får tak i den, så det greit.
Ja. Det bra. Du bare dyktig.
So cut almost all the way through with the grinder to make it fit, and then just try and break it off. And yeah, still won't come off. That's probably pretty warm, so don't put your finger on that. Yes! Ah, that's a lot of work for this, but it's out. I'm so glad. Put the stairs outside and the disco inside. It's 3 degrees, raining. It's yeah, really bad. Let's see. And yeah, look at this, the aftermath. But I did it. The control arm is out. This rear mount here is, yeah, super bad, super bad. Okay, now to the really interesting part, the control arm itself. So I could use a hacksaw on this side, and you can see the bolt slid in a bit into the bushing itself. On the other side, I just managed to get the grinder, the angle grinder, and I can cut off the outer side of the bolt and then force it out afterwards. So really happy. This should have been changed out a while back, and I know that now, but I will show you why. This is really bad. So it's bad. It's not that bad that it wouldn't hold up, but it's bad. So remember, I have hammered on this for many hours and it still hasn't bent or broken or anything, but it shook all the rust that was loose, which made this hole. And yeah, it was time to change this out. And if I go back, I would have changed it out a long time ago. You don't have to wait for the bushings to go bad. You need to inspect the control arms. So that's what I learned today, is that you don't have to wait until the bushings go bad. Check the control arms before that when you do an inspection. And yeah, so I don't know if they saw anything last time it was in, but yeah, definitely gonna be our MOT failure, that even though the bushing wasn't gone. So, but now it's out. Really glad. It's been two hard days of work. It's not difficult, it's just hard work, basically. I'm sore all over the body, so yeah, gonna sleep well tonight. To finish up today, it's in the evening now, so I'm just gonna finish up by cleaning the mounting points on the control arms. Clean up most of the rust, and then put on some anti-rust and hopefully paint over it, and then I can mount this tomorrow. Yeah, so I can start rebuilding tomorrow. I'm not gonna remove the outer bushing, which was difficult. The first one the bushing out in the hub, because I need this car to be working next week. So I need to put it all back together and leave that bushing, and then I will come back after Easter, after we've been up north. I'm gonna can change it out. But we have to look at a lot of other things on this car, but yeah, and we can probably do that. But I need this car to be ready for next week, because I need to work, and also I need to drive up north next weekend in a week. So, happy. It's yeah, it's strange, because your motivation when you it gets really hard just drops, and then when you push through that dip, then yeah, the joys afterwards is just enormous. And yeah, I love fixing things, and this is fixing my own cars. Really fun when you manage to do it. Yeah. Okay, enough talk. Finish up this, and then I'll see you tomorrow. So the production on this bolt isn't the best, but now it's sorted. Welcome to another day in the garage. This is going to be the fun day, putting everything back together. I'm just going to show you the parts that I recommend you get. So, of course, you need a control arm, which is really important. You need they sell like a bolt set for the upper control arm. Then you get the inner 2 bolts and the outer bolt. So you get everything you need there. But I also recommend you get the 2 brake hoses and the brake pipe, which is on the control arm. So because all the fittings here rust really bad and you tend to break them when you put them off. At least in Norway, where we have all the road salt. Okay. Also recommend getting these clips because these also rust really bad. So yeah, get new ones of those. And if you need the outer joint, I'm not sure what to call it. I think it's a ball inside here or something. But if you need to get this one, it's on the outer hub here. I'm not going to change this out now because I need to have this car ready for tomorrow for the next week's work. And also we're going up north on our winter vacation, no, Easter vacation. But I will come back to this. So I'm going to use a lot of copper grease so the bolt won't seize. And then I will come back to changing this out because I don't know how that is going to go. And if I'm going to break everything and need to buy a new hub or something, or wishbone, I'm not sure what to call the outer part. Okay, but first thing I'm going to do is to change out this retaining, not the retaining clip, but retaining holder for the EPB brake line, the handbrake line. I had this for many years because it was said it wears out, and now we are getting to the point where it's super thin. I think it's only 3 or 4 millimeters left, so yeah, need to change that out. That's gonna be first, and then do clean out the outer joint here on the inside and put a lot of copper grease in there so I can get it off when I need to change that out later, and then start on assembly. It's gonna be a fun day in garage, so yeah, follow along. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. And morning coffee, good motivation. The weather outside today was so bad. It's just dampening feeling, but morning coffee got me going. And now I'm out in the garage and eager to get this done. Okay, 10 millimeter. Where are you? Okay. So this was going to be the easy day. Hammer out. Time. So I guess it's rust from the inside. So the bolt is so bad, it's rusted here, so I guess next time it's gonna break. So chase it out, new bolt, bigger head. So it doesn't look great inside there. You can see the rust. And yeah, but we'll have to do for now. Also, there's a tear here. So we'll come back to this. Put it in like so. Oi. Let's see if we can manage to do this. As you can see, it's a bit tight. Seems to be it's what's clipping, or it seems to be a bit tight. Let's see if we can put it in the front one first. Definitely is a bit tight. Okay, let's force it out. Yep. So put it in the front one first. Let's see. I think the bolt can be put in. Bolt. Yeah. Front bolt is in. Let's see if we can get this one through. Yeah. So the rear bolt is through, and then we have the nut. Let's see. And this should be the other way around. It should be under. I think before we tighten up here, we can put on the outer. Let's see. Bolt. Just making sure it's seated properly. So it should be 48 centimeters from the arch to the center of the hub, so we need to go all the way up here. That is ride height. Not sure we're gonna reach that high, but we will see. Now I'm lifting the car, so need to be careful. We are at 50. I think that will be good enough. So we need to have this as ride height when we torque up the bolts, or the bushes will be in tension. So now it's at ride height. We can torque up, and yeah, just be careful now with the car in the position that it is. So I line this as the same as they had it on the other. Just check the other bolt where the line was, and yeah, this seems to be, let's see, on that mark, on that mark, maybe a bit less. Like so. So front one is the easy one on this side because we don't have the compressor. On the other side, the compressor is in the way. There is easy. I need to lower it a bit just to. Yeah. So it's as hard as I can with the spanners. So I tighten it up, lower the suspension a bit just to get access, so I can actually get the spanner on the second go. Same on the third go, I need to lower the suspension a bit, but I think the bushing holds itself when you have tightened it as much as we have already. Last trick is the shortened 21 cup. Let's see. Yeah. Definitely 175 on the inner bolt there, so that should be enough. Okay, so all torqued up. That's a difficult part here, I think, getting access, especially to the rear inner mount. There's no space between the body mount and the bolt, so yeah, you have to use spanners and double up. Looks like we did a good job, and yeah, all torqued up, all torqued up, all torqued up. Now to the fun part, and the easiest part is to change out. You can see how rusted it is, the connection here. That's why I recommend changing out all the hoses and the pipe crossing between the hoses. So these are the parts that we are putting in, new parts, and should go pretty easy. And when that's done, we are pretty much done after we air out the caliper, which we also need to put back on. So starting with this pipe, the lower lower pipe or the lower hose. This is the one that goes through the caliper. So I'm starting from the bottom and waiting with the top one all the way to the end, so we get as little spill as we can. So yeah, this is mounted on this side, and there's you can see that it has a specific way it needs to go in. So it's easy just to put in, and then we need to put on the clips that retains it in the control arm itself. And that's probably the hardest part. I think I remember this being a bit of a struggle because they're so tight. Woohoo! Did it! Combination of pliers and hammer. That was a pain. Next up is the brake pipe, which goes underneath and crosses. Let's see. Up on the other side. There's a plastic clip here, which it should go into. I didn't have a new one, but I saved the old one. So I'm not sure what's the best way to do this, but let's just do the lower one first. And this pipe goes into here. Like so. So I'm going to tighten up the lines here before I get all the dirt inside them. Let's see. Don't have to overdo this, because we can always come back and retighten. You can hold against the pipe when you tighten it up, just so it doesn't get pushed down. Because if it pushes down, it will end up on the control arm itself. Okay, loose. So we're gonna take it out, flip, and put it back on just quickly, so that we can clean off the mounting point here first a bit. Oh, be careful, this is rusted. Okay, I think this was pretty loose, but yeah, so it's rusted while we had worked on the car. Just take it out, then put it back on. We can clean this a bit. And take the new one. Okay, before we connect the lines to the new lines, gonna remount the caliper. And the goal is to have as little air into the caliper as we possibly can. Let's see. So double check if this is, I did hit it with a hammer. So let's just gonna double check it. Yeah, the bolt is definitely bent. Okay. Yeah, definitely bent. Need to see if we can straighten that up. I think I just need to try and heat it up, but is this something outside? Not really sure if this there's an outer layer here on top of steel inside. I'm not sure, so I need to be careful so that this doesn't pop off. I'm not sure if this is one whole thing or not. Okay, so but just a little nightly update. Couldn't get the sliding pin to be straight enough and work, so the caliper wasn't sliding freely, and then then it will just clamp on, and you will get warm brakes, and you will get vibrations, and ruin your brakes basically. So sent out a call out for amongst my friends, and luckily one of my friends who also drive a Disco 3 and who's also is a Land Rover mechanic, Håvard, who I use on the local garage on the engine if I need to. And he had 2 spare service set of the sliding pins, so I'm gonna get one from him tomorrow. So we're gonna pick that up tomorrow morning. Okay, so good morning, just on the phone. I just wanted to give you an update. So all work stopped yesterday, as you saw. Today, going to get the new part, the pin slider, or the caliper slider pin. Yep. So on my way there now. Have a good friend who has one, so he saved the day. And so Håvard, best Land Rover mechanic in Norway. That's a spare part for me. Good friend, and I'll see you on the trip. Yes. You will see more of him. Now we can go home and fix the car. Oh, so back in the garage, new parts. Thank you so much to Håvard. He had a spare kit, so now we can finally start on the caliper, getting it back on, and the motivation for getting this car running today or driving is huge. So let's get into it, and hopefully this will fix the caliper and we can mount it. I'm going to change out both since I have a new kit, and then but I'm going to start with the bent side. Then we can see if it was only the sliding pin and the bolt, or if I have bent also the caliper. So in sliding pin service kit, I will call it, you get the sliding pin itself, and then you get the bolt to mount it, and you also get the rubber seal, which keeps all the grease inside there. So the idea is that you put some grease on the pin itself, so it slides nicely, but you want to fill up the rubber sealing here because with grease, so the water cannot enter. Then it will rust inside here, and your caliper will stop sliding, basically. Come on, come on. Like so. Yeah, this is as it should. The difference from the bent one is just huge. Then a new bolt with Loctite. Not sure it's sliding perfectly, but we're going to change out the other side as well and then see. It's sliding, but it's not perfect. So I wonder if we have bent the mounting point on the caliper itself. Yeah, it's sliding, but I'm not really sure if how good it should slide. I don't remember on a new brake, but that's good enough. Let's get it on the car. So just cleaning the threads. I'm not putting any on it. So you should have some Loctite on the bolt, medium Loctite. Remove the toe link, like so. Easier to get access to the bolt. Okay, so I remember correctly, the torque setting here is 115 on the bolts, bracket bolts. Definitely easier with the caliper off. Now we need to put back the toe link so we don't forget. So torque setting on the bolt, on the tie rod or panhard is 175. It's 133 on the nut, on the inner ball joint nut. Let's see, 175. That's a lot, like so. So 175 newtons on this bolt. Don't want that to come off. Okay. Next up, we need to change over the line to the new lines, and then we're gonna let the fluid drain down to the end of the hose. When we see it dripping, we can change it over to the caliper itself. It will drain, or the fluid will run down through the pipes, hoses, down to the end of the new hose, and when we can see it dripping there, we can remove it, change out the old hose to the new hose onto the caliper itself. And yeah, trying to keep keeping air out of the system as best as we can. This is also the one farthest away from the reservoir, so it's going to be the first one you need to bleed out. So just opening the reservoir, so it's going to flow easier by itself. It just started to flow here. That's good, and we can remove the old, that's not 13. Not overdo it. We can see it start to flow out soon. I'm hoping, yeah, flowing out. Okay. Close it up, take lunch, and then air out the system afterwards. All done, except for airing out. Control arm is in, that bolt's torqued up, torqued up, torqued up. New lines in, they are checked all the way and connected to the caliper. Caliper is torqued up, the toe link is torqued up, so only thing missing now is to air out the caliper and the brake lines. I don't think it's going to be too much air because this is far end and also it's the highest point here. So I think we are pretty good. So we've come a long way, and yeah, it's just the final stretch now, and it's taken a bit more time than I would expect it to do, or what I thought it was going to do, but we have troubles with the balls all the way. And also with the bent sliding pin. So when, all in all, we haven't spent that much time, but the time because of the days going and yeah, driving the kids to practice and first football match and everything. So we started on Wednesday afternoon, and now it's Monday. So yeah, if you're doing this yourself and you're doing it properly, like I have painted, which takes a day at least, 24 hours when you do a DIY at home. So yeah, it takes a bunch of time, and when you have troubles like I have had, it takes more time. But now, final stretch, in for a lunch. I think I deserve that now. and then afterwards bleeding out the system, and then yeah, getting this car out and go for a test drive. Whoop whoop, back in the garage. So there are many ways of airing out or mending devices. I think that's for airing out the system, but I found the simplest way is just this simple bottle and then a hose. Put the hose on, put the bottle up higher than the caliper, and that way you can force the air out, and yeah, we will see if we can get some bubbles. Bubbles! Going to air out the system, and I remembered I have a happy helper. Yellow. Hello. So Nicolina is home from school because she's sick, but that gives me opportunity to help out. So I want you to push on the brake pedal inside the car.
Oh, okay.
When I say so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. That's great.
So I'm going to ask you to push, hold, and then release. Push, hold, release, and then I will say when, okay?
Yeah.
Yep, okay, big question. Which one is the brake? You don't know?
No.
You don't remember?
No, I don't remember.
Remember from the series?
Serious?
Car? The other car?
Oh, no, I don't remember.
Okay, so the one to the right is gas pedal, the one in the middle, or the one in the center there is brake. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna put in that one.
Yeah.
Oh my god, do you use it like this?
Hmm?
Or do you only use one leg?
I use one leg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when you have manual gears, you have the clutch as well. So then you have 3 pedals, like in the old car. You remember?
Yeah.
So when you need to change gear.
Does Mom have that?
No, it's electric, so that's the same principle as here.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I thought I've seen it before, but I didn't know which cars.
Ready? Push and hold. Release. Push. Hold. Release. Push. Hold. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
What? You talked and you said that.
Yeah, when I
Push?
yeah, pushed it down,
Yeah.
then it was like hard, but when you said hold, then it went further.
Yeah.
Down
Then
and
when
then
I said
release.
hold, then that is when I open the valve back here, and then the pressure goes out. That's why it gets softer and softer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cool.
That makes sense.
Yep. So now when we are done airing out, just put this downwards and it drains into the bottle by itself. And yeah, we are done. Nice, easy as that. Now double check for leaks. I cannot see any leaks. Okay, time to get the sensors back. So 2 different sizes on the rubber seatings of the wires or the sensors wires, and the biggest one goes on the inner hole on the control arm, and then they go on top of here. You can see all the way there's one smaller and then one bigger hole, like so, and same here, big and small. One important thing to notice is you can see that it's a really small metal thing that sits on the tip here, and that tend to stick on the brake pad itself. So when you remove the brake pad wear sensor, check for that the little metal clip is there. So put that back on. So this is plastic, so it shouldn't rust too bad. But I'm going to put some just on the edges here, some brake grease leftovers. It's more to seal it up than to do anything else. One important thing you don't want to forget. Let's see if we can get it. Ride height sensor. Let's see. like so. Hopefully that still works after all the grinding that we did. But good, all done now. Just gonna clean up and then put it on the wheel, and then we are back on the ground. Finally ready. So put the ID tool in first. Let's see. Okay, lower. Should be an exercise, and we should be able to drive out. Faults can be read. Continue. Check if there's some fault codes, clear them, then drive. I'm interested to see the brake sensor and the height sensor. Listening for sounds on the right rear, the brake. Neutral. We can check for leaks later. Forcing the pedal really hard, then we can check for leaks. So you're checking the heat. So this is the left hand side. I brake really hard, so it's warm. It's gonna test. Yeah, there's no really difference on the left and right hand side, so I'm gonna drive a bit more and then see if the caliper isn't moving, or it will clamp on and then it will create a lot of heat. So yeah, that's why I'm checking the heat. So far so good, and yeah, I think that's it for this job. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll enjoy the video, and maybe some of you can be inspired to do the job yourself. I save a ton of money by working on my own cars, and I love fixing things, so it's a bonus. Probably should do a longer test drive. Maybe tomorrow I'll do a lunch drive, make lunch outside, but that will be another video and coming later on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, comment, share the video. It helps me out. I want to do this full time, so everything helps. So, and I'll thank you so much for that. Okay, as always, see you in the next one.